Nice.
All right, so game number 2 here of Team Infernal versus Team Cloud. These guys have switched sides, and we saw a lot of pressure coming out of Pie Cake Lord on that Camille in the last game. We'll see how these guys adapt in this set, but first ban phase is already rolling through here. Team Cloud starting off with the Nidalee first ban, and Team Infernal looking to take away that Taric out of the hands of Iron Pyrite.
Right. So this is usually what we see out of these bands. Nothing really too huge, but I think that Team Cloud was really, really looking at Julian and just saying, we do not like your Orianna. It's way too strong. But then you also want to take Spice off of one of his carry champions, which is the Nidalee. But then we also see the final Syndra pick coming out, which is basically two of the three main mid laners in season 7. So now really all that's left is the Talia is available. We see that a couple of other ones are available as well. But for our first pick here, I think that they want to go for an ADC just because they looked at it last game, and it's a really, really strong first pick, which is Tristana. Tristana is absolutely amazing, like we were saying last game. But for a counter here, I think you can go for Sejuani and then maybe an ADC, like exactly like how Team Cloud did last game. But I want to see if they do that.
Woo!
It's Kalista. We've been seeing it banned,
Oh,
but now we get to see it
do
being
they get
played.
Kalista Rakan here? If so, that's going to be so hard for you to deal with. Does T-Sum play Rakan?
He played it in game number 1. He was kind of good at it. I think you can go for Lulu again. And I think it could still play that effect. You can also go for a damage support like he was doing, but then you can also go for a utility like the Karma.
Yeah, interesting choice by them. It looks like we're going to see Noah Most on the first Kalista of the set here, not banned away in the first round, and it signals, hey, let's pick this thing up, give ourselves some engage options. Linsanity's calling for his mid lane main, looking to get that rise in his hands. I think he played a match against Julian, and Julian was playing, what, Corki in that set, I think?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, it wasn't against, it was Team Mountain that he played against.
Yeah. I know that. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. It was Team Mountain that he had played against. And I think that it was a Corki played in that game. Julian played some fantastic Cassiopeia. So that might be the response here to try to match that early pressure that Rise can throw down.
Exactly. Cassiopeia allows basically herself to create that control mage style play. I think that if Julian played really, really well on the Orion, he can definitely pick up the Cassiopeia. Like exactly like both of us were saying. We both predicted it. Ooh, there you go. You predicted it. I'm not taking credit for that. My bad. But definitely Iron Pyrite definitely played a really, really nice game on Braum, and he wants to bring it out again this game. I think another option that was available to him was the Alistar, but I don't think it matches as good as the Braum. If you're really good at landing skill shots and really good at getting in the enemy's face, I think Braum is definitely better. But if you want more of a simple champion, you can go for the Alistar for that guaranteed knockup. But I think in a situation like this, Braum is definitely better.
Lot of control available for this bottom lane. Iron Pyrite stands to actually block a huge amount of damage out of the likes of Team Infernal. A lot of their damage does come in the form of projectiles, so he's able to get a huge amount of reduction for his squad, assuming he gets himself in a decent position. But looking at the second wave of bans, look at this. Now Team Cloud respecting the Pie Cake Lord Camille, knocking that one down, and it looks like Pie Cake Lord's side, Team Infernal, actually banning away the Gnar, something that I'd expect Pie Cake to kind of enjoy playing, but regardless, they're going to take that one off the board. Renekton the next one, so a lot of pressure actually in the face of Pie Cake Lord. It looks like Team Cloud is saying, please play Fiora. Play Fiora so that we can pick shit.
Exactly. I was thinking, I'm just like, do they want him to pick Fiora? And I think the answer is yes, because in team fights, Fiora can do well, but in a sense like this, where you really do have this type of comp where you can see the Tristana, the Rise, and the Braum, but a really nice counter. And we haven't seen Pie Cake play this yet. We haven't seen him play a tank in the top lane. It was a little bit different last game too, because in the first 2 games league, he played an aggressive top lane. He played Renekton. So now in last game, we saw him play Shen, and Shen can go aggressive and he can find those kills early, but it was very different. But now all of these options are available on the board. You got the Cho'Gath in the top lane versus the Shen. This is going to be a very interesting matchup because it's a damage tank versus a damage tank, which is very, very interesting. The last pick here is the jungle. And I think they might go for Sejuani, or they can go for something a little bit more aggressive like the Rek'Sai.
I think advantaged here does actually go to the Cho'Gath just because of the amount of wave control he gets with that Vorpal Spikes. But this is going to be the first game we've seen Piecake Lord on something that isn't a high damage top laner. No Camille, no Fiora for him in this match. And I don't know if he knows how to play this properly. He is a high level player. I have to assume he's got to know how tanks work in the top lane, but he just doesn't enjoy it as much as he enjoys those carries. So we'll see how it ends up turning out here. But regardless, we've got all of our teams rounded out here. Just a quick step through: Cho'Gath, Ryze, Braum, Tristana, and Rek'Sai here for Team Cloud. And for Team Infernal, we got Shen, Gragas, Cassiopeia, Callista, and Karma down in that bottom side of the map. What are these team comps speaking to you right now, Sayed? What are they telling you they're trying to do?
It's looking like Team Cloud wants to go for a little bit more of an aggressive style comp. I believe last game we saw that Ashe really did pop off with the Varus, but now the rest of Team Cloud is really looking towards this guy and saying, all right, this guy can actually carry, and we need to put him on something a little bit better than the Varus. And the main pick on blue side is just the Tristana. So they want to lock that in for him. You pair that up with a Braum, and it pairs up very, very nice against the Callista and the Karma if given the opportunity. But then you also look at the Linsanity. He's been underperforming in some of these games, but now he's on his comfort champion. In the second game that we saw him play this champion on, it was okay, but he wasn't given that opportunity to really, really carry. So I think now Fnatic is playing that more aggressive style pick. You can really start to pop off in some of these matches with Rek'Sai in the early game. The different tunnels you can take over certain walls, you can really pull off some really nice ganks. Then you also look in the top lane where you have Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath pairs off very, very nice with this comp because you have a tank that also does an obscene amount of damage towards the later parts of the game.
And we are already into the match here yet again. If you're just joining us for this game, let's do a quick team introduction for both of these sides, starting off with the blue team, Team Cloud. Up in the top lane, it's going to be League. In the jungle, it's Fnatic. Mid lane, Linsanity. On 80 carry, it'll be Ashe. And in the support role, Iron Pyrite.
Yeah, and over on the red side, we have Team Infernal. We have Piecake Lord in the top lane, Spice in the jungle, Julian on in the mid lane, my bad, and Noah Most on ADC, and Tsum on support.
Quick pause coming out here as Tsum seems to have some connection issues. Interesting, because I think this was all played in Riot Studio. Is that right?
Yes.
A
crash in Riot Studio?
No.
No. You're kidding me.
Tech issues? No.
What? By Riot?
All right. So it looks like he is reconnected into the game here. So what are some goals? Let's take a look at. Let's focus on the junglers this game, because I think Fnatic and Spica have two very different playstyles, at least from what we saw in game number one. What do you expect these guys to be doing early on in order to try to get themselves or their teams ahead?
You're talking about Team Infernal?
Both sides, because we saw Fnatic last game going very aggressively towards those ganks, while Spicer responded with some counter jungling. Do you think that they're going to go for that sort of same thing, or do you expect a little bit of a switch up?
It's interesting because in the top lane now we have two tanks, so I don't think that they're going to be looking towards the top lane too much. I think that Rek'Sai has a little bit of an opportunity up there, but he's not looking at that lane as a priority. As for Spica, I think he would maybe want to go top lane just because you can apply a lot of damage onto Cho'Gath in the early game. But I think that the main priority lane is the mid lane. Just looking at this lane, you got two very immobile style mid laners, but both of them have responses to different things. You have the Ryze, who can use his Rune Prison if Julian wants to go for an aggressive flash play. But then you also look on the other side where you have Spica, and he can, you look on the other side where you have Fnatic, and he can try and gank Julian. But the thing is, if Julian lays down his miasma correctly and in the right areas, I think that he can definitely stop Fnatic from pulling off a very nice gank.
Very true here, and we saw the invades coming through on both sides of the map, trading vision to figure out where the junglers are going to be starting. Bottom side, it looks like a little bit of a cheese brush setup as they go for a late invade here. Spice looking to get himself a jungle advantage just by starting off with the enemy red buff. An early steal here, and I like this tactic because I think that both sides of the jungle here have been lulled into a sense of comfort, just saying, hey, if they're not on this side, they're probably starting blue buff, but instead, it looks like they're going to go for an immediate flank play here. I think Spice with level 2 could net himself a kill. There it is, the pause in the brush to see if they can make themselves around towards the back. Looks like very careful play coming out of both sides, though, as there's no hard engage coming through. TSum putting the pressure down to try to zone off the enemy. I think that probably both Iron Pyrite and Ash expected something like that out of Spisa, and that's why they're playing back in the lane.
Yeah, it happened last game over from Fnatic onto Fnatic onto Noah Most and TSum, but then in this game it's the complete opposite. And Ash is noticing that Noah Most and TSum are playing over aggressive. They're playing into the lane. So now they're really seeing what exactly they can do here in this game. And they noticed once again, like you said, that that Spisa had the opportunity to come into the bot lane, but now he's looking for he's kind of like positioning himself towards that bottom side. So it's honestly looking like he wants to go from the ground, maybe even into the lane to maybe try and pull something off, but then he can also just provide some vision in the river by taking the scuttle. But one thing I also wanted to touch on with the early game take onto the red buff is that we always see this invade onto the bottom side red side jungle, but we haven't seen anything come out of that. We haven't seen any red buffs actually being taken once the wards go down. But now once the wards are going down, they're really starting to capitalize on this buff.
Yeah, glad to see that happen as well, knowing that, hey, the enemy team's probably not defending this with their weak side of the map. Julian taking a lot of hatred here out of this Ryze, who is just sprinting back and forth in the lane. Good invade came out from Fnatic to get those Raptor camp away from Spisa, but Spisa, once again, like you said, playing this vertical jungling playstyle and keeping himself on this bottom side of the map to try to have that early game impact there. That ghost out of Noah Most does not go the correct direction that he's looking for it to, and it just gets killed immediately by Ash. But regardless, a lot of jungler pressure here on that bottom half.
Yeah, I think that what he was trying to go for there is maybe something towards the tri-bush, but even if he just launched it right at the enemy, I think he was honestly trying to look over that wall just to see if Rek'Sai was there, because that's definitely a path that Rek'Sai can take, where you can tunnel over that wall and then flash into the enemy where you can pull off some sort of gank. But Gragas, once again, playing towards this bottom side. He's been playing this whole entire laning phase, and I think that right now he's really looking at this lane, and he wants to get some sort of kill onto Ash because he knows that this lane is a huge priority in order for them to win this game.
Definitely true here. Noah Most doing a great job of maintaining this farm lead. Kalista, fantastic at getting those last hits, thanks to Rend. Not only mana refund, but cooldown reset as well, even on a single minion kill. Makes it very difficult to actually miss those minions, especially at this level of play. But regardless, pushed under the turret is the likes of Team Cloud over the wall. It looks like we're going to have Fnatic jumping in. Flash forward does not connect as they were looking for. I think the knockup got a little bit wonky thanks to the flash out from Noah Most. Double TP coming out from the top laner. Cancelled by Shen, canceled by Cho'Gath, realizing that the positioning of that teleport for Shen was going to actually get himself killed more than likely. And then not wanting to waste that cooldown, League cancels him in response.
Yeah, that was so incredibly close coming out in that bot lane, but even in the mid lane right now, Julian going very aggressive.
Julian on this Cassiopeia. You can tell this is definitely a comfort pick for this guy, because he loves going hyper aggressive, and that's how that champion is definitely meant to be played.
It's cool because now we're starting to see his playstyle. I love seeing these type of tournaments because they're really trying to just experiment what they're really best at, and coaches are also looking at what these players are best at. So Julian in game number 1 played the Corki, wasn't really that good at it, but then in game number 2 he played the Corki, or not the Corki. Wow, in the Cassiopeia. They both start with C. I'm sorry, but he's really starting to show what exactly he's good in, and I think the answer to that is just control mages. He's really good on Orianna, he's really good on Cassiopeia, and it's starting to show here in these couple of games.
Definitely true. Taking a just quick mention up to the top lane, where we have Pie Lord on something that is very different from his previous playstyles, but you can see him trying to hold his own up there against the Cho'Gath. Like I was saying before, that early advantage of the Vorpal Spikes, percent HP, ranged damage, AoE with a slow. I don't know why all that stuff is on there, but it is. Thanks, Riot. It becomes very difficult to lane against. Then you can see that built up in this farm advantage, but he's got a nice freeze close to his turret here. He's going to slow down on this one probably and try to keep this a little bit tucked in towards his side of the lane. A couple auto attacks being thrown down by League to try to get some of the health chunked up, but thanks to Grasp of the Undying, it looks like Pie Cake Lord is going to be able to stay in this one fairly easily. I say that.
Ash.
I say that, but the second round of auto attacks takes him down below HP, half HP. And look at this yet again.
This is so weird.
This is interesting.
I've never seen a strat like this where they like rotate like around 7 minutes. It always happens around 7 minutes where they rotate the bot lane towards the top side of the map just to try and get this tower a little bit faster. But the thing is, if you can capitalize on something like this and if you can predict it, this is exactly what happens. You move your main carry or your jungler towards the bot side of the map, and you can respond to that aggression with aggression of your own. And this is really, really nice for Noah most specifically, because now he has some extra gold. He's going to start to gain his power spike even that much more. And Kalista is just going to turn into that beast of a lane bully. And you're really starting to see that here. You're also seeing towards the top side of the map that Tristana, Rek'Sai, and Braum are all staying up there. They want to control the top side of the map, but then Kalista is just saying, we want towers. Let's try and get this tier 2 in this bot lane. If Shoutcasting shows up, we can maybe potentially dive him. And I think that's maybe what's going to happen, or they can just try and control the bot side of the jungle as well as Dragon.
Yeah, Ocean Drake, very advantageous, especially when you've got tanky members on your squad like Gragas and Shen. But regardless, they're not feeling too comfortable with the amount of gold that they've still got in their pockets. They're going to delay that Dragon take and instead get some purchases off back inside the base. But there is an interesting positioning coming out of Team Cloud after that top lane turret take. They're in a position where they could have probably walked behind Julian and gone for a hyper-aggressive dive with the four-man stack that they had up there. But instead, they choose to play it cool, just take away some of the enemy jungle, get some deep vision, and then once again try to get back to that bottom side of the map so they can control this dragon.
Yeah, so once again, like you're just saying, they really need to try and control this dragon because it's a huge priority for the team. A little bit more of utility can really make the difference in some of these fights like we've seen. But right now, Fnatic looking for a fight.
Yeah, mid lane or bottom river looks like there's a bit of damage getting thrown down. Gragas going very low here. Spice actually getting taken very good flash away nice from that ultimate out of Rek'Sai. Linsanity moving forward to get the last hit on the kill, but gives his life up as well. Iron Pyrite now in a hard situation. He's trying to find someone to jump through. Ash moving in to give him that stand behind me jump, but it looks like they're going to have a hard time walking away. Still Ash, level 5 at the 9-minute mark. He doesn't have Buster Shot to disengage this one. Now Iron Pyrite taken very low. One more auto attack to the Ren's going to get that kill on the Braum, and now it looks like it's Infernal with the control of the bottom side jungle. They can take away not only this red buff, but look towards this dragon if they so choose.
Right, a 2 for 0 at the end of the day, and now you're looking towards objectives and what exactly they can take. The Ocean Dragon is very available for them, but what they can also do, put pressure in the bot lane out of the Cassiopeia, but then also go into the mid lane where Noah Most has a lot of damage.
Noah Most doing a great job of getting some damage down there onto Ash, forcing that Buster Shot out, but instead, no kills go down. And once again, Ocean Drake still stands.
Yeah. Like you were saying. But also, what they also could have done there in the mid lane is if they actually got some sort of kill or even a back out of Tristana, what they could have done there was maybe get a little bit of damage onto that tier 1 tower. But it's honestly looking like some of these kills here are still kills that they're going to use for snowballing. Because right now, Kalista, she's sitting 3 kills up onto Tristana. But still, Tristana, she has a little bit of tower taking potential. So right now, it's kind of even in terms of, I guess, who could potentially take more towers, but it's all about who can get more picks right now. So if Kalista can really get into these fights, really try and kind of get the peel that she really needs to, then she can really start to pop up a Fnatic, looking for a Fnatic push. Fnatic. That's why I called that. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It looks very weird because when they do take an objective like this, basically at this point in the game, it's almost kind of like an objective where it's like, we have nothing else to do, let's just get the dragon. Which is kind of, I don't know if it's bad,
Yeah.
But it's, they get the dragon at the end of the day, which is really nice. But I think if they put a little bit more of a priority on it, I think that a second dragon could have been spawning at that point, where they could have maybe gotten any of the other ones, or maybe even another ocean dragon, which could have meant for an even better late game. But at this point of the game, when you do take an objective like this, you can really start to reset and start to look at other places on the map where you can really start to put this pressure. We look towards the top lane where you can get the Rift Herald, where you can start to take some of the tier 1s out, maybe even a tier 2 if you really wanted to. We see that the bot lane's been rotated towards the top lane, and that Gragas is looking for more pressure towards the top side of the map, as well as Cassiopeia. So this is definitely a huge priority for both of these teams. Even Rek'Sai is up here with Cho'Gath. So I think that right now, Tristana, they're looking for a bot lane objective versus this Shen, so they can put this pressure in the bot side. But I think as a response to this, I think that Rift Herald is definitely an option for Team Infernal.
Yeah, it's interesting because I always feel like these teams kind of hesitate a little bit too long on taking these objectives. Right now, I feel like Infernal could be on it and getting it before, rather than in the enemy jungle trying to do things like steal away Gromp or, look for deep vision there. They've got the disengage that they need to get out of that situation if they did get engaged on with the Cassiopeia in the area, with the Karma, and with the Gragas explosive cask. So if they did want to go for that Rift Herald, it would be way easy for them. Not only that, but once again, with this Bork build on Callista, it's going to be a long time before they take out this turret. Looks like Spica knocked up thanks to the flash on Burrow out of Fnatic. Looking for the damage here. Can't quite find it. 3-man knockup and 3-man taunt out of the Shen as well. Trying to see if they can find anything there, but looks like Piecake Lord still stuck on the bottom side of the map. Or no, he is up here. The channel did go through. Now it looks like they're trying to find the engage on an Iron Pirate. Look at the amount of damage he's able to block there for his team, but it's a little bit too much. Off to the side, Julian looking to see if he can't find his way into the team fight. Will get rooted up here, but an immediate cleanse. No early cleanse. He still gets rooted up. Julian, actually one more auto attack will stun him thanks to the concussive blows applied by Iron Pyrite. Ash able to get out of the fight with just a sliver of HP. Realm Warp coming through over the wall, puts himself to the back line to see if he can't find somebody, but he gets taunted up almost immediately. Once again, Noah Mo's trying to find to see if he can't find his way into the battle. Ash jumps over the wall. The Q from Karma misses and goes wide, and as a result, he goes down.
Yeah, that was a very back and forth fight overall, but Team Infernal really just not communicating as a team. I think the main thing that stopped them from taking the Rift Herald there was Rek'Sai being at the top side, which was really good by him. But the thing that went wrong in that fight is that Team Infernal, they were looking for an opportunity on the opposite side of the map because they knew that Tristana was in the bot lane with Braum, but they made that decision way too late because the wave wasn't in the position to actually take the tower at the exact moment that they needed to. So they waited just a little bit too long, maybe about 15 seconds, which gave Tristana and Braum enough time to go into the top lane and rotate up there for a potential dive onto Cho'Gath. But then finally, when Fnatic wanted to go in with the League, there was 4 members there. So it wasn't a really good situation for Fnatic in this situation. But I think that Team Cloud really did capitalize on the mistake that they made early on in that fight by picking themselves up a couple of more kills.
15-minute mark here in the game and roughly a 1K gold lead here for Team Cloud, but still we're in a situation where Team Infernal has every opportunity to put themselves back in the game. I want to point your attention towards this build of Julian, who is very defensive at the moment, looking for that Infernal or the Abyssal Mask.
Yeah.
Rather than maybe a Rod of Ages or something like that that's going to provide a lot more damage, really looking out for his own life.
Yeah, he's definitely, he wants to be in that position where he can provide that utility, because right now he's looking for, I guess, just the peel, to peel for the Callista. He sees the potential of the other members of his team, basically the Callista, and saying, all right, you're the carry of this game. I'm going to allow you to carry by getting myself a defensive item so that in these different types of fights, maybe like this one that's happening at the top side of the map.
Yep, Noah Most actually split off away from the rest of the team thanks to the Realm Warp out of Linsanity, now in a hard situation against the likes of this Cho'Gath, chomped up by the ultimate. Actually didn't have to use it there to even get that kill. Spice to the next target. It uses the explosive cast to actually knock away the enemy team, but they're going to continue chasing. 4-man petrifying gaze out of Julian. He gets hit by the Q out of this Braum. Looks like underneath that miasma, Linsanity is taking some decent damage from this Cassiopeia, despite that no AP build that we're seeing. Behind the turret, they're looking to see if they can't find a dive. Piecake Lord still on this bottom lane, trying to find some damage onto a turret. They will lose this mid lane turret. Oh my goodness! The stand united will not be enough to keep alive that Cassiopeia, and a second pickup kill out of Ashe with that rocket jump. This entire time, though, Fnatic's been working on Rift Herald, which I thought that was a little bit funny.
Oh yeah, he's definitely just like, all right, team, you just go and you fight, and you just see like Ashe just jumping all around the fight. All of a sudden, you pan to Rek'Sai, and he's like, "Hi guys, don't worry about it." But
I got this thing.
I did it, guys. I did a thing. Yeah. But Piecake Lord showing that he's this type of player. He's a very aggressive type player. So even when he's playing a tank like Shen, he tried to use the Stand United, which was a good effort. Yeah. But he still has TP. So I mean, if you wanted to play this type of carry, then he's doing it. He's doing it right. He's getting a lot of towers bot lane. He's trying to make it worth for his team. So now it opens up a little bit of an opportunity for himself to maybe go into the top lane. I think that I don't know if this is the best thing right now. Maybe Julian could have went into the bot lane because right now the dragon's up. So I think that with the TP available onto Piecake Lord, he could have been sent into the top lane. Maybe put a little bit more pressure onto this tower. And then if needed, he could have TP'd down to this dragon. But if you're in the situation where you just can't contest it, then this is perfect.
Yeah, definitely true here. It looks like it's going to be a quick take for the team Cloud, knocking down this, Cloud Drake for them to get that additional movement speed out of combat. And I think that is their first dragon of the game. The first one of the match actually went over to Team Infernal. So these guys now matched in dragons 1-for-1. I think that first one was a Ocean Drake, so the tanks of Team Infernal definitely enjoying that one for sure. I'm going to pass that blue buff actually to their Cho'Gath, an interesting choice there, but no one really on the team who can really utilize that who was in the area, considering that Linsanity is on that top side of the map.
Yeah, so Fnatic can't use it. Ashe can potentially use it, but it doesn't really want to. So if you just want to put it onto the Cho'Gath so that he can use his, I believe the E still does it use mana? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, his moves still, all his moves still use mana.
Okay. So. Yeah, so he can use his E just a lot faster. If he wants to use the knock-up, then he can do that as well, but then even the silence. So he can also use his alt-off cooldown, which provides, I believe, some CDR with the blue buff. So that's really nice. You can get his alt off just a little bit faster. So I really like this, how they're moving League towards the rest of their team. So what I see out of Team Cloud is that they're very team oriented. They're allowed to go with the team and rotate in between these different lanes and really utilize what they have to the maximum potential. We saw that in the last game where Team Cloud was slowly coming back into the game towards the mid game, and they were doing it by going as a unit and going as a team. The only thing is that Team Infernal, they just out-rotated Team Cloud. So right now, I really do like how they're putting League with the rest of the team and just utilizing this Cho'Gath pick.
Really looking for that Righteous Glory engage on the Cho'Gath. Really want to just get them to anyone that they can, because I think his ultimate at this stage in the game probably does close to like 800 true damage, something like that, with the amount of health that he is at. Mid lane turret now under fire from Team Cloud, trying to get that knocked over. Not a lot of lifesteal available on Ashe on Team Cloud either, as you see him trying to knock out this minion wave, really relying on the healing power. Actually, no, they don't have the Ocean. They've got an Air Drake. So not a lot of sustain available for this Tristana. Once they get low in these team fights, they're just going to stay there, whereas Noah Most has that Blade of the Ruined King and a Runon's Hurricane, so he's going to be doing a decent chunk of healing, assuming that he doesn't get one shot by Cho'Gath, which is the one thing that he's got to really be watching out for here.
Yeah, but the thing is that Noah Most can definitely kite it. So even though he can get knocked up and silenced by the Cho'Gath, he can definitely kite, which we've seen in a lot of these fights where he's positioned correctly and he knows exactly how to play this Callista. He's just waiting. He was waiting for his moment for it not to be banned, and this is the game where he really has to pop off and show his team that he can play this pick to its maximum potential.
Definitely true here. Bottom side of the map, once again, Piecake Lord playing that side lane split push that we've seen him do for the entirety of this tournament. Now finally on a champion where you want to see it for sure, as much as possible. Stand United available for him to join any team fights that may go down here. And the rest of Team Infernal doing what they can to try to maintain this pressure on the top side of the map so he does not get collapsed on. 21 minutes into the game here, and we're still sitting at a roughly 3k gold lead here for Team Cloud. Everyone looking for that Baron buff as best they can. The team that's in control of the vision, though, so far, Team Cloud.
Yeah, so Team Cloud is looking like they're more of a team-oriented team. So it's really good in terms of like the competitive sense. In terms of Team Infernal, last game, they were very, I guess they're trying to play to solo queue a lot more. But I think that slowly as we go on to these later games, I think that definitely something can happen. But in the bot lane, looks like League could potentially find something onto Piecake Lord.
Yep, chasing him down with their Righteous Glory. Lands the slow here, or should. Auto attacks coming down. Silence to try to prevent him from dashing away. It forces the flash out of Piecake Lord. And this is the power of that Cho'Gath percent HP that he has on those Vorpal spikes. Shen's got a decent amount too if he's able to drag the Q through the Cho'Gath. But with that adaptive helm, it really mitigates a lot of that damage, so he's just not able to turn and actually win a fight.
It looks like Team Cloud as well is trying to just look for the maximum amount of damage so that once they get a little bit of an opportunity, they're going to go right for this Baron. There's a pink on it as well as a couple of wards in the red side jungle. So they want to try and look towards this Baron, just see if they can bait something out on some side of the map, maybe even in the bot lane, because we know that League is really good at doing that. But if given the opportunity, this team can definitely take this Baron.
Very true. Things have been quite slow here for the last couple of minutes here on the Rift. Trying to, once again, get vision control, maintain it around that Baron buff, but it seems like Team Cloud doesn't want to hard commit to it. They know that the engage potential of the Gragas and the Cassiopeia can be devastating for them if they put themselves in a bad position. Not only that, but that Baron AoE still shredding away magic resist means that the high damage combo of the Gragas explosive cask and all of those twin fangs flying out of Julian's Cassiopeia can wreck their health bars if they do not manage that timing of the disengage properly. So once again, these guys just dancing around this Baron pit, trying to look for whatever catch that they can, but a lot of this is on these tanks of the game. Looks like the knockup will connect here onto Gragas. Second one connects thanks to the Umbro of Rek'Sai, but it looks like on the back of the fight, Julian flashes forward with the Petrifying Gauge. Stand United being channeled by Piecake Lord, but he's going to die before he can actually get there. So interesting positioning coming out of the mid laner for Team Infernal.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were looking for from Team Cloud, and for all of these games, we were honestly looking for the one opportunity that they get to shine, and this is it.
Yep, looking like they're stepping forward yet again. No ultimate available for their Braum, considering that he died in that last exchange as well. But Noah Mo still has that ultimate for Kalista. So if they do want to go for an engage here, they can do it. TP is still available for Chen as well. 2 smites looks like it's available for Fnatic as he used one fairly early in the brawl. TP in the back of the pit being channeled for Piecake Lord. Are they going to go for the hard engage here? He actually just taunts out over the wall, which means he's got to walk all the way around. The rest of Team Infernal just was not in position to defend him inside of the pit, and because of that, they're just not able to get into this in there. Oh my goodness, Spice is so close to stealing that one away, but he's buster shot back out of the pit. And now the one who's able, or the one who gets punished for that play is Piecake Lord. It just felt like the rest of Infernal needed to get into the river rather than the back of the pit if they wanted to really truly contest that play.
That was so incredibly close, but there's more.
More engage coming down here as they skirt around this dragon. Good Petrifying Gauge coming out of Julian. He's focusing a lot of his damage on League, who's once again got that adaptive helm, so a lot of it's being mitigated. Noah Most pulls in some support, trying to save him. Oh my goodness, Spice is not able to get to that Blast Cone to get out of that fight. Realm Warp now channeled underneath the turret. They actually send just Iron Pyrite. Once again, man, we got to get better communication on these Realm Warps, otherwise people are just going to get shipped into the middle of the enemy team and killed. So got to be real careful how you use this Realm Warp on this Rise.
I think that honestly, Linsanity's that type of player to be he's a very solo queue style player where he's looking at himself. He's not looking at his team and where he's placing his Realm Warps. He's like, I'm just going to place it. If it's a good opportunity for me to go in, then I'll go in. If it's not, then I won't go in. That's exactly what's been happening every single time. But right now, he's looking for more fighting.
Yep, over on the side, looks like Julian might get stunned up, definitely will, and that might open up a window where they can take a turret here. No, not going to continue the fight on this one. Instead, just looking to spend that gold and not risk anything else, knowing that they've got some ultimates that are off of cooldown here. not having that Realm Warp on Linsanity. But regardless, they just play the passive play style here. And actually, no, they just move towards this Infernal Drake and take this one up nice and easy.
Yep, it's a really easy objective to take if you're at this point of the game. But the thing is, right now, it's a really nice strat that people have, where it's like if a very major play happens like that, then you can go and capitalize something of your own. And it honestly looks like Team Inferno, they could maybe get it, but I don't know if it's that worth it. It's a little bit of gold for them, which is really nice, but they're still like 6K down. So not that huge, but it's still something.
Definitely having a hard time of this one. Julian in a position now where he's finally able to get some damage under his belt. The Morellonomicon has been finished for quite a while now, but with that frontline tankiness that we've been seeing out of League on this Cho'Gath, he is just not able to get through that adaptive helm. He's having a hard time getting to any target that isn't Cho, and with the amount of tankiness that he's got sitting at roughly 5k life and a bunch of magic resistant armor, he is very, very difficult to kill, especially with a team comp that's got a Callista on it that has no armor pen yet.
And it looks like Team Cloud is maybe looking for a fight or even a dive here at this point. League going in.
Yep, League looking for a target here. Will silence out the Shen, but the dash away will have already been primed. Knockup does connect on the Pie Cake Lord yet again, but they're still not able to find anything on this top lane side. Now rotating over to the bottom side of the map, look at the dominance that Team Cloud has as they casually just move themselves from lane to lane. Realm Warp being used here to actually make this happen a little bit faster. They could just tank up this turret with their Cho'Gath, but instead they're going to usher in the minion wave. Pings getting down, thrown down that, hey, we need to stop this push down on the bottom side of the map, but I think it's just going to be too little too late as they net a free inner turret as part of this large push. And they're just going to move in towards this inhibitor tower.
Yeah, so I think that it's really, really nice rotation coming out of Team Cloud. They went into the top lane, they got the inhibitor, mid lane as well, but now they're looking to the bot lane where they're just unstoppable. They don't want to go back to base, but League looks like he's getting engaged on. Spice going in.
Yep, Spice looking for the engage here, but he gets double knocked up and silenced immediately. Look at his health bar now as he gets taken down very, very low. Oh my goodness, it looks like the Petrifying Gaze wasn't enough to keep Julian alive. He gets taken down immediately, and now they're just walking through the enemy base. Noah Most clustered into a corner like he's getting mugged in an alley, just gets absolutely obliterated by the team comp of Team Cloud. Pie Cake Lord trying to make his way away from Linsanity, but the chase will eventually net the kill at the very end. Now, once again, Team Cloud walking through this one. They're able to pick up a return win here after the initial win of Team Infernal.
Yeah, really nice game being played by Team Cloud. Really nice rotations overall. 18-5 at the end of that game, 29 minutes into the game. Definitely picking up their slack from game number 1. They formed a more of a team comp where they can definitely rotate in between these different lanes, and they're doing it with style.
Definitely true here. Interesting to see Pie Cake Lord playing on that Shen, something that we hadn't seen the entirety of the tournament, and it kind of showed. It looked like he was a little bit uncomfortable on the pick. It looked a lot less impactful, and then you have to start wondering at that point, if you don't have Pie Cake Lord throwing down that immense pressure, who is the carry of the team? Who's the one that you really want to be playing around? And it didn't feel like anyone necessarily stepped up to that plate, and it really was the focal point of the team.
Right. I think that in the next game, it's really down to if Team Infernal can really, I guess, play to their style. Because I think what happened there in that game is Team Cloud, they limited Pie Cake Lord to play a tank, but then he tried to play the tank like he would play a damage dealer. And that was, I think, the main fault of this team. I think that right now, Team Cloud, they kind of have this strat going where they're more of a team-centric they're more of a team-centric team, and I think that this is really their strong point. If they really utilize that in this next game, then they can definitely win it.
Definitely true. We saw these guys playing a slow, meticulous, calculated style of game. At some point, we questioned it. We were like, you know what, maybe these guys could be moving a little bit faster, but with that speed does come risk, and when you play when you play a risk-averse game, it guarantees that you hold on to your lead because you aren't making those missteps and mistakes. So seeing these guys play it out slow means that they are able to get that early lead, off of their rotations and then maintain that lead with their slower play. So well played overall by Team Cloud, making sure that they aren't knocked out of this best of 3 series immediately off of a 2-game win from Infernal. But let's get set up for game number 3 here and step straight into that one. I've got Infernal versus Cloud. Oh, it's right here on the sidebar. Nice.
Okay, I got 49 minutes.